Yes. Okay, here we go. Well, hello, welcome. I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Hi, thanks for having
And
me.
today I know this is Jaine, everybody. I never know how to pronounce your last name.
Kershner.
Kershner.
Yeah, Janae is usually the hardest. I get Janie a lot or Jamie, and then it's Kershner. Yeah,
Kershner. Okay, I get Susan all the time. People call me Susan.
Susan.
Isn't that funny?
That is funny.
I mean, I still answer, but thank you so much for coming on and being with me today. So I just think it's kind of fun to do these videos and show success stories of people who've taken the missing link and are just completely rocking it. And you are one of those people. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about you and your business and the kind of work that you do really quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
I know.
My name is Jaine Kershner. My company is Jaine Kershner Photography, and I've been a wedding photographer in New York City for over 10 years now, which is pretty crazy. And then a couple of years ago, after I had my own baby, I went back into families and newborns and maternity sessions just because I could understand it a lot more coming from being a mom and knowing what families are really going through. So I started adding that back into my sort of offering my services. And it was great because my wedding couples, well, they eventually start having families. So then I started, they all start coming back, and I'm their family photographer. So I love that part, to getting to see them from really like engagement to wedding to expecting to family. So it's really been a really nice transition.
Yeah, you're like their lifetime photographer.
Yeah, that's definitely a selling point that I point out. I'm like, I'm going to be with you forever.
I love that. That's so great. And
Yeah, I love
so,
it.
oh yeah, I remember when I shot weddings, that was really fun because I would have my people come in. I would see them. So how did you, okay, so you work in New York City. So do you have a studio or do you work in people's homes?
I work in people's homes. As you can see, we're in my office, which is half my bedroom, half my office. I just have a little desk set up with some cabinets, but I'm always on site. I'm always on location. I never bring anybody here. I've never had to. I used to get asked a lot, do I have a studio? But in New York City, people realize that you don't have space like that. So it's pretty common.
Yeah, that's great. So I love that because I know a lot of people who take the missing link do work in people's homes. And I also know that that is a big concern that a lot of people have. And a lot of people worry that maybe the class isn't for them because they do work in people's homes. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Was that a concern that you had? Like, how did you find the missing link? Was that a concern? What made you feel like this was the right class for you? And then how do you make it work, especially in New York where homes are really small?
Yeah, where the apartments are super tiny.
Yeah.
So I found the missing link. I think your ads were working, the targeting was working, and I know about you for a long time. So I also follow you on Instagram and on Facebook. I think I was in a part of a couple of groups. But at the time when I saw the missing link, it was the winter. It was last winter. And I was like, I really want to step up my flash film game because I'm a hybrid photographer. I shoot film and digital because I want to shoot more film for my family photos. And how do I do that when it's super dark in most New York City apartments, unless you're like super wealthy and you've got a Tribeca loft with floor to ceiling lights, which not really everybody has. So I watched your webinar. That's how I got into it. And I was like, oh, I think I'm going to do this. And then I purchased the missing link. And then it happened to be that at the point of, we were redoing our bathroom. So I had 2 weeks to spend at my parents' house, which is, never really fun. So I watched the missing link over those 2 weeks. And I swear to goodness, like within like the first 4 or 5 modules, I was like, I can totally do this. And then after I finished the whole thing, I was like, oh, I'm buying all the equipment. I'm changing out my gear. I'm going to start testing. And that was sort of, I just got like a big kick in the butt, like a big excitement to be like, oh, I can do this. And it seemed so approachable and so easy just because I know how to shoot film, but bringing in the flash element for inside, I was very trepidatious about and nervous. But with your method, I was like, oh, it was so easy. It was so like easy to understand. So what happened was when I came back and the bathroom was done, I started buying all the equipment. I sold some gear and I purchased the B2 and I got the umbrella and the triggers. Again, I have all the equipment. I already had a light meter, so I didn't have to buy that. But once I got the gear, I tested on my family. I sent in the film and they came back and it was in my style, how I shoot, which is light and airy. And I was blown away at that these were taken on this bed, actually, right here, and in the dark practically, and they looked fantastic. So I was like, this is it. This is what I'm gonna do. So
And I love that you had success right away.
right, yeah.
And that's
Okay.
I love about, I'm sorry, but that's what I love about the class too, is because I really wrote it to make sure that it was basically just step by step by step by step, because I want people to be able to do it right away, and
Yeah, no, it's really easy. I think the course is so great because I would be testing on my family and then I would say, oh, I don't remember what are the settings. And then I would literally pull it up on my iPhone and just watch it on Teachable and then, oh, that's what she meant. And then I would just meet her that way. Or, I'm a visual learner. So it took me maybe like 2, 3 times of watching a module to get it. And now it's ingrained in my head. So yeah, I had success right away. And I just knew that it was something I could bring to my couples and my clients right away. So I had made my kit really portable. So going from my house to my client's house is actually really easy because the B2 is in this little portable pack. I only have one head, so it's one head with the battery, and I put the trigger in there, and then I just carry the umbrellas separately, and then I have my gear. So it really is probably just like one crossbody, an umbrella, and a backpack of my gear. So it's really, really portable. I was like blown away how easy it was to recreate this look in tiny New York apartments and really deliver each time to every single one of my couples. So it's been awesome.
that's going to feel so good too, to be able to walk into a situation like that and not have to worry about it. Just know that you can do
Yeah.
it and have your look like your look.
Exactly. Yeah. So I always ask my couples to send me pictures of their home so I know what I'm getting myself into because I never want to walk into, a dark hole or I just want to know what I'm getting myself into
Yeah.
as a photographer. Um, but I bring my lighting gear now and I don't worry about anything. I'm just like, yeah, we're going to use this. It's going to be fine. I think the one thing to note is that I bought the 7-foot Westcott parabolic umbrella and I love it, but it's a little too big for New York City. So I got the 5 foot, and that's just fine. So I
And
just
well, 5 foot is plenty big,
yeah.
for sure.
So if somebody watching this, needs like, oh, I need to get the 7 foot or the octagon, the octabox you talked about. It's like, no, you can pare it down a little bit and still achieve the same look that you want. I push it in a little closer and it's fine.
And it's still, because it's all relative, right? Size is all relative based on what you're shooting. So a 5 foot parabolic relative to a baby is still pretty darn big.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I love that. Actually, I'm gonna check out that modifier too, because so fun fact for those of you watching, we are recording this right now while we're both living in a shelter in place situation. I'm in Seattle, Janae's in New York City. It's this whole COVID situation. And so I've taken all my lights home and have been practicing and playing around too. And some of my rooms, that 7 foot is not a problem. I can like pop it up. But the other day I tried to set it up in our bedroom and it's like I knocked everything off my dresser. And, and I'm still pretty clumsy with shooting at home, right? Because I just don't do it like you do. You're a pro.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of a fun learning curve for me too, just to be like, oh, but what I'm finding, and you're going to be able to speak to this better than I am, what's really fun about it though is to be in like the craziest room in my house. Like I'm in the basement, it's just a dark basement, right? And then I get the photos back and they look exactly like the photos that I
Yeah.
take in my studio.
Totally. Yeah. And that's the thing that's so awesome and amazing about the missing link is that once you know the principles and the foundations that you've taught us, you can bring that to any situation that you're given. So for me, my couples primarily all live in the city. Some are in the Hamptons, but they all kind of have like a regular New York City apartment, which is maybe a 1 bedroom. They have a nursery. Sometimes the kid is with them in the 1 bedroom, been there, done that.
Mhm.
So you just kind of, it's great to know, I think, like the principles of how the light will work, and then you can make adjustments on the fly. So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
and I love that too, like, because once you know the principles, you can do anything with it.
Yeah.
Like I photograph newborns, but you don't have to photograph newborns, or you work at home, but you don't have to work at home. Like, really, it's just understanding the basics and the foundation and the principles, and then just applying those things to your whatever you do. Um,
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
recently had a bunch of florists, I think they're all in an association together, but a bunch of florists take the class, and it's been so fun watching the work that they're producing, right?
Oh, that's
Like
awesome.
something totally different, but it's all the same principles because light is light. And so just make it work for whatever it is that you shoot, which is,
Yeah.
I think it's fun. That's the fun of it.
Oh,
So
that's
I
awesome.
what was that?
Oh, that's awesome. The
Oh
florists are taking it. I feel like I
right.
tell everybody to take it. I sell your course all the time. Like my friends reach out to me and I'm like, you need to buy this course. You need to get the stuff. So yeah, no, I tell everybody about it.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I love that. So, what would you say to somebody along those lines who has been thinking about it, but they're concerned that maybe it's not a good choice for them because they do work on location or because they have a small space or something like that?
Oh, I would say a little bit of tough love and be like, get over it. You can do it. It's so easy. Like, don't be afraid. First of all, the course is such a good investment, right? So as a educator myself, like so I have a podcast and a blog called Tea with Janae, and I started that because I was so tired of wedding professionals being taken advantage of by other photographers who were teaching them something, but then they never got anything. So I come from a place of I want you to get your money's worth, and I want you to get really good education for the value that you're putting into it. And your course is 100% that. Like, I took it, I learned so many great things, and I made money from that course. So whatever the course price is now, you're going to make it back like the first session, because you're going to deliver these incredible pictures, and then you're going to get more clients from that. So whatever it is, it's totally worth it. It's worth the investment, and you're going to learn so much from it. And the knowledge is the power. Like, that is going to be with you forever. And then you're also going to get all these different other clients now, right? So for me, I'm getting more and more family clients because of my work that I'm sharing on Instagram and putting on my website. And I wouldn't have had that work a year ago. So it's been a year of new inquiries, of new bookings, of people finding me from Google that want my style of photography for their kids. And that has been so rewarding. So I think, do it. You're going to love it. It's a great investment. And also, you can make a kit as portable as you want it to be. So, you don't have to get exactly what Sandra gets or what I got, but if you know what you need to produce that look, you can get something really much smaller and make it really travel friendly. Like, I think my kit's really, I mean, I'm on the subway carrying it, hoping nobody steals anything from me, like from point A to point
New
B.
York, yeah.
But it's New York City, but I think my kit's really small, and I'm not a bodybuilder, so it definitely can be heavy, but I'm okay with that. So, or you can take cabs if you live in the city too. But if you have a car, man, you've got it made.
You're
Like, you
set.
just,
Well, I've
yeah.
taken mine on airplanes because
Oh,
I do
that's
the same
awesome.
thing where I have the cross the body, umbrella,
Hmm.
right? And then everything else collapses in just that little carry-on.
Yeah, it
Like,
slides right under the seat, and you can put your gear with you. You get
yeah,
two pieces. Yeah, I mean, and every day they come out with new stuff, right? So,
it keeps
in
getting smaller and smaller to
yeah,
to
yeah, I think the umbrellas have to stay the same unless they make them collapsible. But the B2 is so tiny. I mean, and you don't even need to bring it in its pouch. Like, you could probably put it in, your
I've stuck
backpack.
mine just in my purse before.
Yeah, exactly.
Just throw it in there, which is
Yeah.
so great.
Yeah. No, it's
I love
awesome.
that. I love hearing that that you were able to make the investment in the class back on your first session, because
Oh yeah.
I say that to people all the time because I know that that's the reality, but it's you should always hear it from other people, not the person who wrote the class.
Yeah, I think, I think people might be trepidatious about purchasing a course because they've been taken for granted. They lost out because they bought something else and it didn't deliver. But your course delivers like that. If you take anything from this talk, is that it delivers, it's worth every penny. And I always recommend it. Like in my Tea with Janae community, like it's on my email list. I tell everybody about it. I'm always like, hey, like, so we're in COVID, right? So we're now in, what is it called? Oh, stay at home, stay in
Yeah,
place.
we're called shelter in
Oh
place.
yeah, shelter in place. I forgot.
Yeah.
I blocked it out.
The state has some different.
So what did I do is that I pulled up the course and I started just rewatching a couple modules, and you've added some new modules that I didn't get to yet. So I watched those and then I picked up like two new things and I was like, oh yeah, this is great. And like you're always adding, so we always get new content. So I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like, it's meant to just be a static course, but I'm the kind of person who just can't stop doing things. And so I'm always like, I feel like, I've been doing this for years and years and years and years, and I'm always still learning. So everything that I learn, I want to share inside the course and in my community. And I love that you're taking time to do that right now while we're in a shelter in place. I'm actually going in and updating the course, and I plan on adding a lot more new things. And one of the things that I'm doing right now, because we are in this crazy situation, and I know people are scared, and I know people are worried about making an investment, and I want to be really sensitive to that. So I'm trying to just do some really fun things inside our community, which I'm sure you've noticed, where
Yeah.
I'm doing these little videos at home. I'm showing people like, okay, here I am. I'm stuck at home too. Let me show you how I'm using my lighting in home.
Yeah.
Um, and giving little assignments that I'm posting inside of our members group. But now I'm also going to add those into the course. So if people somehow miss them in the feed on our members group, they'll be listed in the course.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no, you showed us a trick the other day with bouncing it off of a window
Yeah.
without the umbrella. And I was like, I've never even thought of that ever. And I was like, this is so cool. Like let's say like
The 7-foot parabolic in my kitchen.
yeah. But for me, I'm like, well, what if I can't bring my umbrella or it's too small in that baby's nursery because it's like not a real room, which happens quite often. And now I just have like another tip in the back of my brain, like, oh, I'll just bounce it off the window. So that's why it's so great. I love it. Yeah.
Yay.
Best.
Well, I thank you for sharing it with everybody. I appreciate that so much. And I appreciate you so much. So
Yeah.
how can people who are watching this video find you or see your work or learn more about your podcast or anything like that?
Yeah, just say hi. Yeah, so you guys can find me at Instagram, which is at Jaine Kershner, or you can go to JaineKershner.com. But if you want to find out more about Tea with Janae, you can go to teawithjanae.com. And then we've got a podcast, Tea with Janae, and Sandra was a guest, so you guys can listen to our episode there. And that's on every single platform. So we've got it on Apple, Spotify, Google, and any place that you can find a platform, you can search for it and subscribe. And yeah, I would love to hear from you guys and
And
hear
it's
how
such a
your
good
journey goes.
podcast. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I keep like talking over you because I get it. But it's such a good podcast, you guys. And I'll link all of that today underneath this video so people can click on that and see it. One last question. I thought I was all wrapping it up, but I forgot to ask one question. I had it in my notes here. Do you ever, so I have a lot of people who not only work with families on location, but who do events and do weddings. Do you ever use this lighting or the foundations of the lighting that you learned in the class at events?
Yeah, it's really funny that you said that. So I do branding photography as well for a couple of clients, and they will Oh, sorry, I got a ding.
Oh, no worries.
If I turn the sound off, then we can't talk.
I
So
know.
yeah,
Okay.
excuse me. So I have a branding client, and I had to go to their studio, and it was mixed lighting, weird spaces, and I just brought my entire kit with me, plus a couple extra things that I knew I was like a bounce, and I have a V flat. So I brought all that stuff, and yeah, I used everything I learned for a professional, branding photography session, and yeah, we rocked it. It was awesome. So I feel like that knowledge is always with me, and I'm always trying to quit that out. Here we go. Try to do that and use it whenever I can. So yeah, it's always there.
Yay, I love hearing that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your shelter in place day. I will say you look much more put together than
I took a shower for you. I'm
I'm
gonna
in the
make
full
up.
like quarantine wardrobe where I'm all like, sweatpants or yoga pants every day and sweatshirts. So,
I know. I'm like, my jeans still fit, so that's a good sign.
oh, congratulations. I'm not even going to try it.
Totally.
All right, woman. Well, listen, thank you for being with us today. Stay safe.
Yeah, you too.
And I can't wait to see you when this is all over.
I
And
know. Big hugs in person.
I can't wait to hug you. I'm just going to hug everybody. I'm just going to walk
I
around
know.
the neighborhood hugging people. It's going to
Me
be
too. Me too.
all
Bye,
right.
guys.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.